So we're going to get our first speaker up here today. I just want to kind of warm you up. And I'll say this before I get him up here. One of the keys to success in life, there are many, is getting in the right rooms. I promise you, you have found the right room today. And so I'm going to bring up my dear friend from San Diego who's sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes. And he saw this EXP business model. He goes, I think I could do it. And guess what? He got in, like us. People say, how'd you know? I didn't know, but I'm going to give it a shot. And Jesse Zagorsky killed it. So help me welcome Jesse Zagorsky, everybody.
On music, you like that? There we go. I see two heads nodding, only two in the entire room. That is really disappointing. There we go. Hands up now. All right, we got hands up. There we go. All right, I was just rolling with it. How many of you would like to speak after Brent Gove at an event? Two of you. I told him downstairs, he said, you're going on right after me. You know what I said? I said, I love it. You know why? Brent leaves the room in such an enthusiastic, energetic state. I'm looking at your faces. I can coast on this momentum. It doesn't matter what I say. I can literally just be up here and just smile for the next 20 minutes if you want to put however much time on the clock. By the way, that'll help me keep on track. But guys, that momentum that you're feeling, that energy, if you learn nothing else today, that's all you need to be successful with agent attraction. Does that make sense? And I'm going to give you strategies, and we're going to talk about specifically on the agent attraction side, how do you do this? How do you build it? But if you learn nothing else, it's just about being in that state. So flying up here, driving up here, whatever you did to get here today, that's all you need to do. Be in this room and take that energy back where you go. Sound good? All right, so a little check-in. By the way, I gave this talk a title. Brent asked me yesterday to do this. And we talked about it a few weeks ago, but I knew really officially yesterday, so I took notes on the plane. This talk is called Feel Better Fast. If you want to write that down. I stole that name from an audiobook I started listening to this morning, which is also called Feel Better Fast. Nothing to do with agent attraction. It's about brain chemistry and things like that, but it really ties into to agent attraction and recruiting. So little show of hands for you guys. How many of you guys are really impatient? Okay, most of the room. By the way, I've learned that in case you do any public speaking, it's a really good way to get into rapport with an audience is to ask them really hard self-reflexive questions in the first few minutes and take a hard look at themselves. No, I'm kidding. All right, so if you're impatient, I'm going to give you strategies that will actually work today to feel better fast, but knowing that as you go through this journey, it's a process. I've been with EXP for 3.5 years. Brent Gove told you my name is Jesse Zagorsky. I'm from San Diego, right? 3.5 years in, my first year at EXP, I did a little bit of agent attraction. Like, this is kind of cool. I like this. I joined EXP to build an organization. Let's be very clear about that. How many of you guys joined EXP? You're like, this is the number one reason why I'm joining? Most of you in this room. Okay. So that's why you're in this room, right? So I joined for that. But my first year, I got distracted. I didn't spend as much time on it as I thought. I did a little bit of recruitment. Then I went back to selling houses. I was running a team of like 21 agents. And it wasn't doing well at the time. Like, it had really good months and really bad months. 2 months after joining EXP, my team of 21 agents, take a guess how many houses they sold. Anyone got a guess? I had a team of 21 agents in January of 2019 that sold 0 houses. I didn't even think that was possible. Like, I thought they could stumble upon a transaction and sell it. It happened. Next month, they sold a few more, but still it was a net loss. So I abandoned agent attraction. I went back into selling houses myself, leading my team by example. We ended the year net positive. We had a good year in the end. But that time I took my foot off the gas, I kicked myself because that was opportunity time to do what I really came here to do, which is build an organization. And that's why you guys are here. So the first thing I want to tell you about is the difference between obsession versus being focused. I got an ooh for that. I like it. All right, so obsession versus being focused. When I joined EXP, I became, at the beginning, a little bit into it, but let's talk about fast forward after 9 months when I clicked back into agent attraction, when I was like, I'm gonna do this thing. By the way, guys, 3.5 years here. My first year, I ended my year at about 111 people in my organization. Fast forward 3.5 years later, I now have 1,100 people in my organization. So I did figure out how to get it to scale. I did just cross the $1 million threshold in terms of revenue share earned. Yeah! But guess what's cooler than that? Guess what's cooler? Next year, I'll probably make over $1 million in 1 year. That's the compound leverage piece of this. And even better than that for me personally, it's the impact that I feel like I'm making on the lives of the agents, both in our organization and at our company. I don't get out of bed. It's not for the money. The money's cool. It's about making a difference, making an impact. That's how I'm wired. Okay, so back to this obsession versus focus thing. And Matthew, I've been told I got to stay out of the way of the projector, so I'm going to get really, really comfortable. All right, cool. We're going to be friends over here. So I was obsessed when I first dove into agent attraction. Like I'm talking, I was watching EXP videos on a daily basis, multiple times a day. Anyone else at that place right now where you are consuming stuff like multiple times a day? Okay, that obsession helped. I'm telling you right now. The reason I was obsessed is because I was coming from a place of pain, right? My team hadn't done well. I like selling houses, but I didn't love it anymore after 18 years. And I was committed to getting out of that as fast as humanly possible. I also have 2 little kids. Now they're now 4 and 7 at the time. They were little, 4 years younger. I wanted to spend more time with them. And so that obsession, guys, it doesn't matter whether you choose focus or obsession. My obsession, and usually obsessions I find come out of that pain. Like you don't get obsessed because you really like it. You're like, I've got to go towards something. And then after time, though, I shifted into focus. It was a conscious, specific focus on what I needed to do on a daily basis, the actions and activities I needed to take to continue to build my organization and get it to duplicate. And that's what we're going to go over today. Cool? All right. So, we're also going to cover, by the way, the secret to how to feel better fast. We're going to cover why recruitment is just influence. We're going to go over a daily target, like what you should be doing, and a little bit on accountability groups and how to tap into your strength. That's where we're going. I have no idea, by the way, that countdown clock, is that like minutes and it's counting up and the left is the minutes? Perfect. If anyone can see the clock, it's doing a very strange thing. It looks like I'm watching The Matrix. Like the numbers are moving incredibly fast. I don't understand what I'm looking at. All right, cool. So, this is when you first, how many of you are just starting out in the world of agent attraction? You're like, I'm just trying to attract my first person, first couple people. Like I feel like I'm for a building. It's a lot of the room. Perfect. Okay. We're going to start first with what recruitment is. So my friend, Casey Council Jiha, who actually spoke in this room 2 years ago. Has anyone seen the video she did from this mastermind? I have watched, by the way, that video hundreds of times. And it's so fun to see this side of the room because the camera in that video never turns around. I only see this part. I'm like, oh, this is what the room looks like. Cool. So Casey has this definition which says recruitment is taking the time to understand the hopes and dreams of someone else and then being the resource to help them get it. That's all recruitment is, guys. If you're starting your journey, I want you to go back and focus on that over and over again. Recruitment is taking the time to understand another human being's hopes and dreams and then being the resource to help them get it. All right? So what is recruitment? All it is, I had a mentor when I first joined this company. I was still one of my good friends, and he told me recruitment is influence. Influence. That's all it is. How many of you already know you're like, I'm an influential person? How many of you know you're influential? Raise your hand. All right, within the next 2 minutes, I'm gonna have all of you raising your hand that I need you to understand from your core that you are influential in your life. I guarantee you are using influence in so many ways on a daily basis. And once you understand that, when you believe it, it makes agent attraction so much easier, all right? So if you were with us in Cabo, how many of you guys with us in Cabo? All right, like half the room, cool. You've heard me do this visualization, but it only takes 2 minutes, and we're hours from lunch, so it's gonna be kind of fun to do. Plus, it's a small enough room I can actually get some interaction. So, this is for anyone who's like, I don't know if I like to recruit, I don't know if I'm any good at it. I'm gonna give you a really easy visualization, and if you are a leader in this room, you already have an organization, take this back to your crew and do it with them, right? So I want everyone to close their eyes. All right, take a deep breath in. I can see you all doing it. I love it. Thank you. Take a deep breath. Let the deep breath out. I want you to picture your favorite restaurant. Someplace you go to on a regular basis. Someplace you really love. I want you to think about what are the sounds you hear when you walk into this restaurant. I want you to think about what are the smells, right? You really get that senses in your mind. Sit down at a table. Server walks up to you and brings you your favorite dish. They set it down in front of you. You open your eyes. You take a spoonful, a forkful. You put it in your mouth. Okay, everybody open their eyes. First of all, is anybody hungry right now? Okay, let's take someone who's smiling. Someone tell me your favorite restaurant you just said. I want you to shout it out. You're right there. I don't know you at all. You're smiling. What's your restaurant? Shout it out. Visconti, she said. Right? Everybody, what's your name? Renee, okay, everybody look back at Renee. Renee, what do you like about Visconti? Okay, it's family owned, it's been in Folsom forever. Right? Can you guys see her smile? Can you guys see her energy? She's talking about it. Okay, now watch this. Do you ever tell people to go check out Visconti? Only all the time. Okay, only all the time. And when you send people there, does Visconti give you anything? Free food, free wine? She's shaking her head no. Why do you send people to Visconti? Because she wants them to experience it, right? She's just talking about something she loves. She wants her friends to check it out too. Do you guys think that's influence? Okay, so now I'll ask you again. How many of you in your life at any level believe that you've used some sort of influence in your life with anybody, your friends, stranger? Okay, everyone got their hands up now. Now that, okay, you know you are influential. Now we just got to connect the dots. How do you use that influence when it comes to attracting someone to EXP? Make sense? So, when you fall in love with your real estate brokerage, the same way you did with all of your favorite restaurants, you don't have to worry about talking to someone and thinking, what are you going to say? How are you going to express it? The same way that she just talked about Visconti is the same way you get. Asher, what's your favorite restaurant?
It's called Velvet Creamery.
It's called Velvet Creamery. Same way Asher could talk about Velvet Creamery. Like anyone in this room, you all have something you love. When you find something that you really fall in love with, it becomes so much easier to talk about it. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, does that take the pressure off? Write this down. You've probably heard this before, but now it's going to connect even better. Write this down. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Stop being so hard on yourself and worrying about what you're going to say when it comes to talking about EXP and agent attraction. First of all, I'm going to show you something in a minute, a step-by-step blueprint of what you need to do and the steps to follow. But I'm going to tell you right now, as you learn this thing, when I show it to you, if you take the pressure off, you don't need to learn it right. You just know it's just, first of all, probably having more conversations than you're having right now. Don't raise your hand for this. You can just blink your eyes instead. Blink your eyes 3 times if you feel like you've struggled a little bit with agent attraction. Okay? I don't know if you're just blinking because you got stuff in there or blinking. All right, got it? So that's okay, guys, because when you're struggling, you're learning. Right? And every time you're learning, if you can take the pressure off yourself and not worry about doing it right? And believe that you have the tools you need, because I'm going to tell you what the tools are. And we have so many tools in this company, right? You are literally business partners with not only everyone in this room, but with Brent, Gove, and with me, with so many other people. Like we are all in this together to help each other. And if you don't feel that now, by the time you end this day, I guarantee you'll feel that, right? When you know you have people who have your back, it becomes really easy to use that influence and to guide people to this company. Make sense? All right, so let's talk about daily targets. How many of you like specific action steps? Like I'm a specific action guy. A lot of you nodding your head. Okay, cool. I like to get the mindset right, but let's see. We have one slide. We'll see if you can see it up here, but I want to give this to you. And you might have seen this before, and I want you to draw it on your paper if you can't see it. And if you can't see it, I'll say it out loud, don't worry. But this is the way that I've taken to kind of teaching agent attraction. And it seems to really break it down and make it really simple. And the reason I teach it this way is because this is how I learned to work with buyers and sellers, right? Everyone remember back at the beginning of their career? Some of you are brand new realtors, which is amazing. I'm glad you're here, right? But some of you, if you remember how you learned to work with buyers and sellers, I learned to work with buyers and sellers the exact same way I learned to play tennis. Now you're like, where is he going with this? Okay, here's how I learned to play tennis. Ready? Or you want to draw this down first? I can see everyone's focus. We'll tell you what's here, and then I'll explain the tennis analogy. So if you want to do a target sign, on the inside of the circle, it says sponsor X amount of agents per month. Sponsor X amount of agents. There's a blank in there. That's for you to fill out later. Okay? Sponsor X amount of agents. Outside of that, we have book X amount of 3-way calls per week. Book X amount of 3-way calls per week. I'll define what a 3-way call is in case you don't know, but show of hands, how many of you guys know what a 3-way call is already? Anyone not know what it is? All right, most of you guys know. All right, cool. Outside that, watch X amount of EXP videos with a new agent per day. Watch X amount of EXP videos with a new agent per day. Notice the other one is per week. That one's per day. There's a reason for that. And it could be go to a webinar, an in-person lunch and learn. That's somehow exposing them to the model. Outside that is have X amount of EXP conversations per day. And above that, send X amount of outbound messages or calls per day. All right, we all good on writing that down, drawing it out? And there's a reason why I have you draw it out, because it does help get into your memory. Your brain will learn it faster. And this is the model that you will either use yourself or you can teach others for duplication. Because that really is, by the way, my favorite part of this model. Out of my 1,100 people, do you know how many I've personally recruited to EXP? Pretty good guess. 40. I have 40 active frontline agents right now. My 40 turned into 1,100. Not because I'm an amazing recruiter. I do tell myself every day I'm a great recruiter. I do. I tell myself it's part of my affirmations. But it's not because of that. It's because I figured out how to plug into systems we already had and continue to help find other leaders and help train them. But they're doing it themselves. It's not me. I'm just hoping to find the right people and show them what to do and get out of the way. And that's what you guys want to do also. Make sense? Okay, that's the power of this. So, back to my tennis analogy. Anyone ever played tennis in here? 3 of you. All right, anyone know what a tennis ball is? Perfect. Little green fuzzy ball, net, you hit it back and forth. Cool. So, tennis. This is how I learned to play tennis. I had a coach who said, Jesse, I want you to stand over there and hit the ball to me. And I was, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, young. And he's like, I was like, how do you want me to hit it? Because my brain works in specifics. If anyone else is like that, that's why I'm talking to you. My brain's like, what do you want to hold the racket? He's like, just hit the ball to me. Well, that's weird. Okay. Hit it as hard as you can. It's going to go. So he just had me hit the ball way over the court. Just way over the court. And he's like, all right, now here's what you do. And he gave me a little technique to make the ball come lower and lower until finally, after a little while, the ball is just zipping over the net, right? You watch professional tennis players, they make it look effortless to whiz that ball as fast as possible over the net. But it starts with just getting the ball back over the court. Make sense? Same way I learned to work with buyers and sellers. On this chart here, what is getting the ball over the court? Sending X amount of outbound messages, right? Because sometimes we just text or DM, or making phone calls per day. That's just getting the ball out there. Some of you guys are at that level right now where you're like, I don't even know where to start. Start by just making outbound touches, right? Hopefully they're about EXP, but for some of you, we need to build relationship first, offer value. If I have time, I can go into that. If not, I'm sure I can point you to resources where you can find how to build relationship and do those sort of things, right? Does that make sense, though? Getting the ball over, just start making outbound. Inside of that is having an EXP-specific conversation. Hey, right? I've known you for a long time. You're one of the best realtors I know, truly. Like, I respect the fact that you are professional. You close your deals. Your clients love you. Will you do me a favor? Like, I'm sure you've heard of EXP. I'm sure people have talked to you, but like, I want your take on this. Will you sit down and just take a look at this and, like, regardless of what you heard before, will you give me your feedback? If I know this gentleman, which I don't, but I'm looking directly at him, if I had some rapport, he'd say, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. That's what I mean by having an EXP conversation. That's the next level in. As you build that skill set, you go down from there, right? You know that once you develop your skills, like Brent can probably go out at this point, I feel pretty confident too. If I said every day this week, I'm gonna have a new person sit down with me and watch the model explained. Notice, by the way, I didn't say send it to them and hope they watch it. Like, I'm gonna sit down with them and have them watch it. If I said I'm gonna wave my magic wand and every day this week I'm gonna go meet with one person, I know I've developed the skill set to go do that. How many of you could feel like you're like, I could go wave the magic wand and go meet with someone if they wanted to, if like, I don't know who they are, but I could go get someone to sit down and watch a video with me. Anybody at that level yet? Some of you guys, okay? Your goal is to continue to increase your skill set through practice, role play, live training, repetition, until you get to that point. But if you're not there yet, guys, the rest of you, you want to focus on conversations. I'm just going to talk to 2 people a day, 2 new people every day. Has anyone heard that before? Someone asked me outside, what's your secret? How'd you get to 1,100 people? What's the special sauce? I said, just consistent daily action. There's no special sauce. You'll hear every speaker who comes up here. Matthew just said, yep. I'm telling you, I'm a nerd. I have interviewed and had on podcasts and talked to almost every large EXP leader I can find that has built groups. They all say the same thing. They either got really, really lucky and sponsored one person who went out and built the entire thing, which go ahead and do that. You like that plan? Go for it. I love that plan, right? Or they did consistent daily action. Either one works, right? Either one works in this model because you're one person away from changing your financial destiny. You truly are, okay? So if you're at the level of having X amount of conversations a day, and if you're not there yet, stick back out the level of I'm just gonna make X amount of outbound messages to even just set up appointments to talk. And then as you go through this, guys, what you're gonna do in real time when you start taking daily action is you're gonna take notes of what's working and what's not. And you're gonna bring it to someone who knows more than you or has more experience, or heck, maybe even the same level as you, but they're the only one you know to talk to. But like, the cool thing in EXP is we have so many people we can talk to and say, I talked to someone, it crashed and burned, it was terrible. Here's what happened, what should I have done different? and they'll tell you how to course correct. Does that make sense? Any of you guys can send me a workplace message. I'll help anybody. Hit me up. Let me know how it went, right? Inside, because we're all sponsored to different people, but I guarantee if you look up the 7 levels of people that sponsored you, there is someone that knows what they're doing, probably 3 or 4 of them. And they are vested in you to, if you can improve your skill set, it helps them too. So they're going to want to help you. But it takes you to take the self-awareness to see what you're doing and then reach out and ask for help and see how you can figure it out. Is this making sense, guys? Yeah. Does this help make it feel easier, or does this make it feel more intimidating? What are we thinking? Easier. Okay? It's just this, like, I want to make it feel that easy. My whole goal up here is that you leave today just being like, I got this. If you have that feeling, that internal felt sense, by the way, I'm married to a therapist, so I can say things like internal felt sense. I have no idea what it means, but my wife says it all the time, okay? You can have that internal felt sense that, like, you got this. Then you really will go out and do it. So inside that one, watching X amount of EXP videos with a new agent. From there, it's booking 3-way calls, right? Once I have people I've been working with for a while, my goal is like go out and set 1, 2, however many 3-way calls you want to book that week, because that's the flow. You open up a loop of curiosity about EXP. You expose them to the model by either having them sit down and watch an EXP video, come to a live EXP Explained, right? And then after that, once they watch it, you set them to a 3-way call. So some of you are focused on, those of you who are the builders, right, I've been doing this for a bit, focus on booking. My goal is 2 3-way calls a week. If I set 2 3-way calls every week, I'm going to build this thing. Does that make sense? And then we go down, you wave your magic wand. Some of you guys can just go out and wave your magic wand and say, I'm going to go sponsor 2 agents a month. Awesome, 2 agents a week. But that's as your skills build. So I hope that's connecting there. I got one more piece I want to go over, but I'm looking, it seems like that's making sense, right?
Yes. Yes. Come on, you guys.
Oh, no. I love the energy, Brent, but I'm okay with silence because I can see they're processing. I like it. Like this is... Truly, guys, that's all I want for you. So the last piece is here. If you want to feel better fast, here's how to do it. Because some of you guys, you get down on yourself about agent attraction and recruitment. You might get success, and then a day goes by, a week goes by. For some of you, it's minutes because you're really self-critical, and you get down on yourself, okay? That is not a headspace to create success in any part of your life, but especially in agent attraction. So you want to figure out how to feel better fast? There's a couple things here. One, you got to get yourself a win, right? A win, a wig, or a wig. If you like wigs and that, you got to get yourself a win, W-I-N, right? And if you're a leader, those of you who already have organizations or building organizations, you want to focus on getting the people in your group wins as quickly and as often as humanly possible. Most wins tend to last about 90 days and then they fade. Some of them even less, right? Because our minds, a lot of us tend to focus on the negative. So you want to get a win. So how do you get a win? Guess what? It goes back up here to having more conversations. Something goes wrong. You want to get yourself back into a place where you can get a win, and you can't get that without talking to someone. You can start with gratitude. You can start things you're focused on. But it's getting what I've learned from Brent. I'm watching his face here. Truly, I've learned this watching you last 3.5 years. He just gets into action faster and more often than almost any human being I've seen. And he does it with such positivity and enthusiasm that it's contagious and it just flows. But if you really talk to him, he gets more no's than anybody, right? Have any of you guys ever been, I got 3 minutes, am I good on time? You're good. Cool. Anyone ever been on a river rafting trip? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if your guide did this. My guide never did this, but I heard this in a book recently and the visual stuck with me. He was on a river rafting trip, and his guide took him out before this really gnarly rapid. And they parked the boat, and they hiked up the mountain to the side, and they were looking over the rapids, okay? And the guide's explaining there's a big rock over there, and there's a swirly whirlpool right there, right? And we're going to paddle around. We're going to paddle hard. So when we go in there, when I say paddle, you say paddle, and you say, they got back in the boat, and everyone as they went through, when the guide said paddle, you paddle. No question. There's no time to question it, right? But I think so much with agent attraction, what happens is no one lets you know, you're going to hear no. That's normal, right? You want to have a guide like Brent, like someone in your organization that's going to tell you, hey, when you hear no, here's what you do, and here's how we move past it so we can continue getting the wins, because that's what keeps you in momentum. And once you get there, it's so much easier to keep going. But you got to build up momentum first. So the last thing I'll leave you with here is our daily accountability groups. How many of you have a daily accountability partner for anything in life? How about for agent attraction? Ooh, all right. Here's 3 things that daily accountability groups do for you. 1, they help you tap into your strengths. 2, they're going to offer simple solutions. And 3, they're going to provide support. I'm going to say it again. Tap into your strengths, offer simple solutions, and provide support. So, how do you find an accountability partner or a group? Okay? It starts the same way, reaching out and having conversations. That's literally all, everything comes back to the same place. You guys see that? In this room, do you think there's someone in here who'd want to be your accountability partner? Only some of you sheepishly are like, really? All right, by the way, if you don't like accountability, I'm okay with that. Keep doing what you're doing. Your results are great. Depends if you like your results. Okay, try it out for the next 7 days. I'm not saying commit to it forever. I've been running a daily accountability group for the last almost a year. Can I tell you how many people have been on my daily accountability call every day for the last year consistently, inside and out? Me. Me, maybe one other person's been like 90% consistent. The rest of the people, they've come in and out, and that's okay. Because agent attraction doesn't have to be a job. It's not something you're committed to forever. You need focused effort. Remember back to that obsession versus focus? You need focused effort for short periods of time to create the momentum. But you can do a lot in a week, 2 weeks, a month, especially 3 months straight. And you can hold yourself accountable for a short period of time and then go back to having fun. So on our daily accountability call, we declare one intention for the day related to agent attraction. It's a 15-minute call. And then we report back in the next day on if we did it. If we didn't, the leader of the call asks what got in the way, right? What did you learn about yourself with no judgment? It's just a place to self-discover and figure out how to correct it. If anyone wants to lead one of these calls, I've got a document I can send you to teach you how to lead your own. You want to drop in, you want it? Just hit me up on Workplace, okay? Jesse Zagorsky, Z-A-G-O-R-S-K-Y, Jesse Zagorsky, Z-A-G-O-R-S-K-Y. I'll send you the document. You want to drop in on mine and take a look at how we run it. Happy to have you sit in. Truly, whatever I can do to help you guys, it could be one person, but having a group is great because some people are flaky. And that's okay. Okay? And that's okay. So guys, that is it. I want you to take the daily action with a little bit of accountability. And when you know you've got this, when you feel that inside, it becomes fun. It's easy. You guys ready to have some fun? All right, let's bring Brent back up.